Hi, I'm Elynn Light, Parent and Teen Empowerment Coach. And today I want to talk about the importance of showing love to your teens in a way that they best understand it so that you can keep their love tanks filled up. Teens have the developmental task of self-identity and independence. So even though they are pulling away, they're pulling away to find out who they are that's different from their parents. And during that time, it might be easy to interpret that they no longer need us, that they no longer need our love. And the truth is, if you will see the rise in drug addiction and suicide in teens, we know this is not true. The number one cause for suicide is people feeling alone. That's why it is so important in our families that we keep connection and communication and the coping skills that I teach, which I have to give a little plug for my tapping one more time, because it's so important to release those negative emotions that come up in both parents and teens. So on the topic of caring, it's fascinating to me that we each have a different 1 and 2 love languages that make us feel more loved and appreciated. When I first learned about Gary Chapman years ago and applied this in my adult relationships, it was astounding. But even better is his teen book, The 5 Love Languages for Teens, Gary Chapman. So if you don't already own that book, if you have teens, I suggest that you rush out or go to that online place we all use and get yourself a copy. So the 5 love languages don't change throughout life, and it's good for adults in their adult relationships, and it's good for parents with their teens, it's good for teens to teens, it's really good for everybody to be aware that different things make people feel loved differently. So if you don't already know what these 5 are, we have the words of affirmation. So people who have a strong appreciation for words of affirmation need to hear words like specific appreciation, and not just some grandiose, like personalized is even better. So I appreciate how hard you worked on that project, or wow, you're really creative, or that's something I wouldn't have even thought of, you're brilliant. So using those words really fills the love tank of the person who needs, wants, and hopes to be appreciated and loved in that way. So this person is also the most sensitive to criticism, and words of criticism and even correction and positive feedback can feel devastating to the person with this love language. So if you have to deliver corrections and criticism, as most teens need direction, you would also make sure that you are filling their love tank with something positive that you like about them. Okay? I know this can be tricky, and it's a high standard we're holding, but you know, we keep striving as parents and as humans in relationship to keep doing better, right? So the second love language is touch. And so touch can certainly include massage, but I remember my deceased father had a way of just putting his hand on my arm. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, when he passes, I'm just gonna miss that so much. And I do, even though it's been 10 years, it's a fond memory of how comforting just that hand felt. So don't underestimate a touch on the shoulder, a reassuring touch. So because teens are changing, what they liked as a child is going to change what they like in teen years. So maybe as a child they wanted a lot more touch and maybe massage, but now as a teen, it's going to remind them of that it's, oh, that's childish when you touch me that way. So you're going to have to readjust in the teenage years how you touch, when you touch. I'm wanting to say where, but obviously we know where not to touch, and the other where is in front of their peers. So kids are really wanting to show this independence. So we're not going to be smooching and touching on them the way we used to, even if they loved it earlier. Let's see. Time-wise, it's always so hard to just be succinct and give you everything that I want to give you. So we also have acts of service. So maybe your teen would appreciate you, well, maybe not, let's say ironing a uniform, or helping her be on time by something she wasn't able to get done, or making a special meal or a special dessert for her. So an acts of service could be, it's really anything. Like for your husband, it might be picking something up at the cleaners, making a special meal, having, as kids, it would be to wash the car. So any of those are acts of service. And we all appreciate them, and some of us appreciate them more in order to keep our love tank full. We also have quality time. So a person that appreciates quality time wants you looking in their eyes and paying attention to them rather than multitasking. They will feel like they are unimportant if you're doing other things while talking to them. So it's important, and it takes more time if your child needs that quality time to make them feel that they have your undivided attention. And oh my gosh, lastly, gifts and cards. So obviously we're not always rushing out buying diamond bracelets. What also is included in a gift would be a handwritten note, a card, and Gary Chapman talks about a pretty cool way to work with teens to say, hey, if I happen to want to buy you a present this month, why don't you make me a list of 2 or 3 things that you might like to have, including the brand names and colors. And that's another way that you can actually really focus on your kids' love tank being full. However, this is not to be confused with manipulation. Like if you clean your room, I'll buy you that new dress. Or if you do your homework, I'll get you that pair of shoes or that prom dress, right? So it's not, a gift is not an exchange, a trade, or a manipulation. A gift is an expression of love, and it's a just because. So do not underestimate the importance of your spouse, your children, needing to feel loved in the way that makes them feel loved. Our world has gotten so connected and so disconnected in many ways now with all the internet and technology. So it's important to keep our hearts open and to keep that connection so that our teen knows that they can talk to us and knows that we care. So we need to speak all of the 5 love languages, and some more often than others, right? So as you're being aware of your teen and wondering which of these they are, you can start noticing what they respond to, what some of their preferences are. But the most important thing is really getting across that you're interested, that you value them, and that you care. So even though they are different than us, they just by nature are going to have to find their own way in music and their own way in language and clothing and even faith. They might be starting to curious, what are they doing in other churches? And the more we can allow them some space to explore and find their own, they're going to come back to that solid foundation that we've laid for them. So thank you so much for tuning in. Again, Elynn Light, teen and parent empowerment coach. And if you'd like to have a teen breakthroughs session, look at the links below, contact me. I'd be happy to speak with you personally. Thanks so much and have a great day.